Okay, Dash L Rose here back with another video. This time we're going to be looking at a good episode from Season 2 of SpongeBob. Now, just like Season 1, there was a lot of episodes to choose from, so I chose this one because a lot of people talk about this episode, but it's more they bring it up in Season 7 because there's a lot of imitation Krabs ripoffs and all that. But anywho, this is, yeah, I just said it. It's called Imitation Krabs. Now I've got some sad news too. I was going to release the original video. Well, I was going to try to figure out how to fix it so I can release the original Karate Choppers video, but it's deleted now. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, even though it was better than the remake, it was still, I deleted it by accident. I was trying to delete my last review, which was dumped. But yeah, but this is Imitation Krabs. Definitely a really interesting episode. I mean, it starts, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna start with the title theme. The title theme is so catchy, like, I miss this theme. Like, it has an amazing theme. I mean, they played it a lot in Season 1, and it did return in Season 4 a little bit, but they pretty much forgot about this song. And I'm pretty upset about it. I really like it. It's a pretty catchy theme, and I'm glad they used it in the remake. I mean, not the remake, I mean the title theme. But anywho, how is the episode? How is Imitation Krabs? Well, it's a, again, it starts out with it starts off where Plankton is disguised as a random fish character, and, he's trying to brag SpongeBob with $1 million to get the Krabby Patty. Unfortunately, SpongeBob is not stupid enough to give him the formula, so Mr. Krabs ended up catching him, and he got kicked out. I mean, I like the jokes in this episode, too. They're pretty good. And Mr. Krabs, again, is likable here. Again, later on, I mean, in Season 4 and 5, he's kind of like he is in this episode. But as the seasons go on, like towards Season 6 and stuff, we start seeing episodes where Mr. Krabs is more cheap and stuff, and if you were wondering what that sound was, I think that was the school bus going by. I think the bus driver, she gave my dog some treats or something, you know. Anywho, but back to this. I do really like this episode, though. It's really nice, and in the hornpipe song, noting the hornpipe song has a remix in this episode. Now, here's the thing with the hornpipe song, though, is it plays a lot in the earlier seasons, through Seasons 1 through 5, but then they kind of got rid of it in Season 6. I mean, it does come back, but they hardly play it anymore, and that's sad. It's actually my favorite song in SpongeBob. And by song, I mean soundtrack, because they actually have songs in the show too. But yeah, sadly, it would, like, towards Season 6, they would play it a few times and then disappeared for a while. But yeah, I really like it. The remix it's okay. I mean, it's not as good as the actual version, but it's still nice to have a remix of it. Now, I don't know why they didn't, why they made a remix of it for. I don't get it, but I guess they have a remix of it. They also have a remix of the second Krusty Krab theme. And this theme, I mean, it actually plays in this episode too. Not the remix, but basically it first appeared in jellyfishing, and it would constantly play. I mean, that's actually one of the songs that appeared in the newer seasons too, more than the hornpipe song. But yeah, But yeah, it's also a catchy song. Anywho, how's the episode itself? Again, I do like the concept of SpongeBob. Well, there being imitation Krabs, which is over there. It's pretty obvious which one's the real one, though. I mean, they could have changed. They could have made his looks look more. I mean, it's okay. It's a cartoon, and it's not supposed to be real logic and all that, but it's kind of funny that SpongeBob mistakes the robot crab for the real Mr. Krabs. Speaking of which, when he ends up bursting in the door, the real Mr. Krabs bursts in the door. Apparently, everyone was gasping for breath, but robot Krabs, aka Plankton, says gasp. I'm not sure why he didn't just gasp. I guess because robots can't gasp for breath or something. I'm not really sure. But it is kind of strange. But this episode is definitely really good, and I definitely like it. Now the ending is kind of confusing a little bit. Like, I don't know why Mr. Krabs got mayonnaise all over him, and SpongeBob pushed him out with like fries, like in a bucket of fries and stuff. I'm not sure why he did that. Like, I really don't know why. But he pushed him out there, I guess, to get eaten, which doesn't make any sense. I don't know why he did it like that. But yeah, it's just kind of a weird way to defeat Mr. Krabs that SpongeBob thinks is a robot and all that. But yeah, this episode is really good. I really like it. And now, if I have one complaint about it, now this is a complaint, it's the way that Plankton got foiled. It's kind of weak. What ended up happening was the penny that he gave to Mr. Krabs, lured Mr. Krabs out, was clever. But what happened was once Mr. Krabs got pushed out and SpongeBob gave the formula to the phony Krabs, which is Plankton, SpongeBob found a penny that Mr. Krabs found that was going after the same penny, he was chasing after, and he puts it in the slot, and that causes his machine to self-destruct. I think that's a little bit weak. I kind of don't know why. I don't know why the writers thought that was the way to go. I mean, they could have still made his machine get destroyed, but maybe the penny got caught in his robot suit somehow, and it overheated his suit, and he blew up. But no, instead it's a self-destruct slot, which is on his chest. Where Mr. Krabs' belt is at. I think that's kind of a bit weak, but it's really the only complaint I really have. I mean, there are some confusing moments on that. Like, again, Mr. Krabs getting shot with mayonnaise and SpongeBob pushing him out to what a hungry hand is at, which it's kind of confusing, but otherwise it's a really good episode, and I really like it. And Mr. Krabs' voice is starting to get kind of higher here. It's still really deep, but you can tell it's starting to get kind of higher. I really don't like how his voice started getting higher later on down the road. But yeah, but I do like this episode. What score would I give it? Well, I probably would give it 120 points because it's a really good episode. Hardly any flaws with it, minus the penny gag, which ended up biting Plankton in the butt at the end. It was all still played out pretty good, and there will be more imitation Krabs episodes later down the road, but this one is definitely the best out of all of them. So anywho, this is my review on Imitation Krabs. Definitely a fantastic episode. I would recommend it to anyone. And And I'm gonna let this go. Anywho, tell me what your thoughts are on this episode, and Dash L Rose out.